A while ago I did a video where I put up on the screen as best I could, and also in the description of the video, a transcript of a 911 call. The 911 call at the originating source was played back real time and was given a transcript by WTVR. At this point we can criticize WTVR for making a mistake. You could also claim that parts were removed because there was a bleep out. By the way, if you're editing one of these things, just don't put the bleep in. We're getting tired of 1 kHz beeps. Next, this was Isaiah Brown calling 911, and this resulted in him getting shot. And that's not actually arguable anymore. It's been enough time, it's been a month, no new information's come up. It hasn't. People are still saying the same things that don't match up with the information we have. Either the body cam video that was at night, not during the day, people are saying it was during daylight, or clearly visible when it wasn't. And a 911 call that unequivocally shows him threatening to kill his brother and saying something along the lines of, I have access to a gun. And I get this response. After he said he was going to kill his brother, he had a gun, but not on him at one point in the 911 call. Isaiah was shot. He was taken to a local hospital, and people even dispute whether it was 8 or more bullets. They dispute whether or not he was on a breathing machine or it was just non-life-threatening injuries, but serious. None of that is actually relevant. Also, people have brought up for some reason that he was gay, black, maybe transgender, and also, should we throw in that maybe he was just a female? I don't know. It's not relevant. Would the police have gone to his place if he didn't call 911? This is the first step where you have to sit there and you're going to caterwaul. Well, one side's going to scream something about cancel culture, and the other side's going to scream about my feelings. When I hit 911, I'm hitting please send gunner. The only reason you hit 911, a non-specific thing like emergency, is I want someone showing up with a gun and an ambulance and a fire truck, because I'm in Portland at the time and they have some stupid rule about sending all three. You're always going to, if you just dial 911, you're always going to get somebody who has a gun on their hip that is not trained in fighting a fire or doing medical work or helping somebody in a mental crisis. They're not trained for that. They're trained to shoot people, arrest them, handcuff them, beat the shit out of people. So let's get this straight. You hit 911 and you didn't know that a World Wrestling Federation guy with a gun on his hip was going to show up and beat the shit out of random people in the yard. The United States is a circus and we are all clowns, okay? Now, on top of that, you're a gay black guy and you don't think that's going to happen. Or maybe you wanted it to happen. This is the opinion part of the video. But someone says he doesn't deserve to get shot by cops 7 to 10 times. All you're doing is victim blaming, saying if he didn't say that or do this, he wouldn't have got shot. Everyone who is using these tactics like waptek is justifying the shooting is on the cop's side. I'm in favor of disbanding police departments until they correct their behaviors. We don't make them correct their behaviors because you keep having politicians do your shit. You can bypass the politicians by forcing laws down their throats and the police department by just casting a rule that says cops don't have qualified immunity if they shoot someone. They have qualified immunity when they avoid it and don't shoot someone. That's point one. You can punish the police department for misgendering you by saying sir or madam when it's wrong. And get away with it. But nobody's died. But they have qualified immunity if they basically murder somebody. Flip that. And stop suing the cops for shit that doesn't cause permanent injury or death. I had my feelings hurt. Is there a bullet in your head? No? Then shut up. I'm sorry, but everybody needs to pick their priorities. Less death or no bad feelings. Are you, with them dying, are you having less bad feelings? Then maybe you should give them qualified immunity if they do something that literally doesn't kill you. But it's the same as rape. No, someone doesn't recognize you. Okay, let's do my scenario. I'm in favor of disbanding the cops for another reason. Let's say we have a Mad Max situation, which I grew up being prepared for, and I'm disappointed about. So, you come up to me and say, Help me, I need water and food. Well, I've got a can of beans and 2 gallons of water. You want it, sir? I'm a madam. I'm offended. Now you're going to starve and die from dehydration. I'm going to back away slowly because you're a charred mass of scar tissue and you desperately need food and water. But your priority right now apparently isn't dying. It's not being misgendered because I can't identify that you're even a human at this point. Now, I know that's a cartoonishly crazy version of it, but actually that's not that far off. If you are claiming that you're in a hellscape where literally entire populations are being murdered because of FEMA camps, or it's a rash of gun violence, or it's a rash of cops shooting people, but your primary thing is not having your feelings hurt when I explain to you, don't dial 911 if you don't want someone showing up shooting people. This is a really straightforward fucking thing. It's like Chris Rock doing, how to not get your ass kicked by the police. Or another person saying, what do I do when I'm stopped because I'm a concealed carry gun owner and a gun advocate and I'm black and I'm in a pickup truck. Everybody got offended by this guy telling you how to make getting shot nearly impossible. What do I do to make it to where the cop doesn't shoot me? Because they're not trained in saving me. They're trained in shooting people. They spend more time shooting targets than resuscitating them. I have had relatives and friends with seizure disorder that causes the brain to stop working correctly, so they behave oddly. Well, he's behaving strangely. I shot him. I asked for an ambulance directly, and you send cops and shoot somebody. Every city I know of allows you to dial 911 and get an ambulance, a fire truck, or the cops. But they have 3 separate numbers that you can call only for the ambulance. In Portland, I had to call the ambulance company. Only the fire truck. Don't send an ambulance. It's a fire in a field. Well, we have to. No, you don't. And I'm only going to tell you there's a fire, and it's a forest fire. And this is recorded and uploaded. And the minute you avoid showing up for a forest fire, you're guilty, not me. Stop trying to get me to pay the goddamn bill. It's paid with taxes. Shut up. And then lastly, if I'm dialing the police, I don't want an ambulance. I don't want a fire truck. I want a guy with a gun. If you're dialing 911 and you don't have one of those 3 things sorted out and just call that number instead, you're asking for a gun to show up. And a potential moron behind the trigger. Isaiah said, give me the gun. I'm about to kill my brother. 911 said, do you understand that you just threatened to kill your brother on a recorded line on 911? Yep, or yeah. Do you have a gun? Yes. Then later on, as he was outside, do you have any weapons on you? Which is, why didn't you ask that in the first place? 911 operator. Isaiah said nope. By the time that was relayed to the police, they had showed up and were on their way with adrenaline pumping to a potential shooting with an armed attacker who's threatening to kill a relative. That's a special category. Somebody threatening to kill a relative, that means they'll kill anybody. And instead of a hammer, it's a gun. It's a long-range weapon. Doesn't matter if it's a pistol. Deputy said, show me your hands, show me your hands. That's not confusable. Made you look. This is show your hands. That means there's nothing in them. Empty your hands and show me your hands are empty. Or show me your hands are empty, drop everything. Drop everything, show me your hands. Any of those is acceptable. Show me your hands now, show me your hands. Okay, that's less ambiguous than the next thing. 911 said, you need to hold your hands up. Hands up, don't shoot. Isn't something you just chant, it's something you do. Put your hands up so they don't shoot you. That means you do this. No, that's not what they tell you to do. This is what you do. Why are you doing that? So you can't say I was armed, dickhead. Am I armed? You need to, am I armed? Say it. No, now you can't shoot me. I win. I get to survive. That's all I want. Now have your partner show up and handcuff me so you can't make the excuse there was a struggle. Yes, I've done that. And it did happen. And they put me in the safe part of the car. I'm in the back of the car. You can't kill me. You check me for guns? No, there's no excuse. I'm going to live. Okay, what happened? Nothing. You got called and you're not telling me why you're here. Until you tell me what I'm asking, I'm not going to respond. You're trying to get me to incriminate myself when you don't have a reason for being here. You don't have an articulatable reason for arresting me. It's a false arrest. We just ended our conversation. We had a report. Read back the entire fucking call. Hour later. Yeah, I sat there for an hour. We had a call about a suspicious person. You're not giving me the information. A suspicious person, period. Did it match my description? No. You have to release me now. You know that, right? By the way, this is being streamed. Oh, we're very sorry, sir. No, you're not. And it's going to get uploaded. And it got uploaded. A couple of channels ago. It wasn't streamed. I was just recording it. But you get the idea. This little microcassette recorder. They don't know that. They didn't find the microcassette recorder, but they said they checked me for guns. Did I mention they may not be competent and be handling a gun? Next. Deputy said, drop the gun. He's got a gun to his head. Drop the gun. Now he's walking towards me. Stop walking towards me. Stop, stop, stop. Bang, bang, bang. Well, why would he shoot him if he's pointing a gun at his head? Okay, let's play cop's advocate. From here to here. Bang. I have a good line on you and I can shoot. People have actually done that. You know that, right? He was trying to commit suicide. People feigning suicide, shooting cops. It's a trope in a movie. It's happened. His back was to him. The cop is saying he's coming towards me with a gun to his head. I'm not supposed to shoot him if he's trying to commit suicide because I'll be roasted on Twitter. Drop the gun or I'm shooting you. I don't care if you're pointing at your head. You still have a gun. Oh, yeah? Kneecap. Then point it at his chest. It'll be pretty easy because he's going to duck down because his kneecap's gone. Oh, I didn't mean to shoot you. Drop the gun or I'll shoot you accidentally again. Well, that's politically incorrect and that's machoism, blah, blah, blah. But you have a live victim instead of a dead one. He can sue for $1 million, but the body cam shows the guy holding a gun to his head. You have a gun in your hand, you can still shoot someone. You're just playing advocate for the cop. Yeah, I am. Now let's try something else. 911 operator, how are you doing? What's going on? They won't let me into my mom's room. They won't give me a key. I'm trying to get to the backyard. There's a car back there. Something like that was the call. Do you have an emergency? Well, I want something. Answer yes or no. Do you have an emergency? I don't care if you're a snowflake. Well, I just want help. Do you have an emergency? Say the word no. I'm ending the call. Now, if we have that kind of thing, nobody gets called there because it's bullshit. Because it was. But then you complain that they're not sending cops when they should sometimes. Okay, they send the cops anyway, but they send an unarmed cop. If it gets around that an unarmed cop shows up when there's an ambiguous call, I'm saying unarmed cop, like that's going to happen, then you're complaining that the cops showed up, that they were unarmed and couldn't handle a bad situation. That escalated. Or cops complain that people set them up by making fake, half-assed 911 calls so they can shoot cops that are unarmed. Well, you're just making up scenarios. No, I'm talking about what happened in Britain when they didn't let the cops carry guns. They still don't in most cases. But the cops started carrying guns because people would trick them into showing up for a situation not needing a gun and then shoot them because they were doing assassinations. You know, that's actually something that happened in Great Britain. And by the way, this guy basically called the police like a swatting so he could get the police to show up to make his brother do something. Isaiah Brown called the cops on himself. If he had not done it, he wouldn't have gotten shot. You can argue that I'm completely wrong about that, but I don't see how the fuck that can work. And if he had not said, I'm going to kill my brother and I have a gun. Also, you could say, you could argue easily, you could have said, I'm really angry with my brother because, in a very articulating way, I'm angry with my brother because he won't let me into a room in the house and I need a key to get my car out of the backyard. And then you could have the 911 operator say, that's not an emergency, this is not a 911 call, and you're going to be charged with filing a false 911 report right now, and you're going to go to jail for a month. Put your brother on the line. Hi. Is there an emergency there? No. We're going to send police anyway. Go outside and put your hands up, spread your fingers like Waptek said, and let them search the place because now we have an excuse to search the place. And if you act like a threat, they're going to shoot you. Act like you're the least threatening thing on the face of this planet. You're a sea anemone. Okay, they're not really harmless, but you get the idea. Maybe you're an echidna. Don't create a situation where the cops think there's going to be a death threat. Is he responsible completely? No. But he shouldn't have called 911. And remember, every time you dial 911, you're asking for a gunslinger. Don't do that. Unless it's needed for that. Otherwise, specifically call the ambulance or the fire department. Good day.